All right, so we're going to look today at pages 236 and 237, which are next to each other, and then skip a page and you'll go on to, or 2 pages to 239. But these 2 pages here go together, and this is a little bit like a combination of data collection and graphing or making a line plot, but also we're getting into fractions now, which we didn't do before. So a long time ago, at the very beginning of the year, we went over these words. And just for a second, do you remember what these words mean? Can you remember the meaning of these? Minimum, maximum, range, mode, and median. And we'll get into those in a second. But let's just take a look at the activity now and what's going on here. So these 2 pages go together, and basically they're doing a swimming pool thing, and this boy Ben is keeping track of how long people are in the pool. So his times in and time out are here, and then how many total hours are they in the pool. And then over here, he's making a line plot to show this data. And he's already done these first 5 people. He's already put those onto the line plot. Let's have a look at that real quick. You can see there 3/4, 1, 2, 1 and 1. Yeah, they're already there. These 4 are already there. So the first step's pretty easy. You're going to put on the rest of these, this row of people. So we have 1/2, 1 3/4, and just add x's to your line plot to fill it in. So like that would be the first 12 people there. But now this is where it gets a little bit trickier, because if we look at this, we need to figure out the total hours based on the time in and time out. So we need to do this on our own. And some of them are very simple. For example, this first one, Lucas was in at 2 p.m. and out at 3 p.m. That's 1 hour. Simple. Okay, some of these other ones, though, are a little bit trickier. And we may need to even look at a clock to figure out fractions. So here's a picture of the clock in my house. And so if we're looking at this in terms of the minutes, so we have here 5, 10, 15 minutes. And what is that fraction that you see there? If you see 15 minutes, it is 1/4 of an hour. And then if you were to do 30 minutes, you can see that that's half an hour. And then add 50 more minutes to that, and then you now have, what is that fraction? Well, it's 45 minutes, and now we have 3/4. And of course, 60 minutes is 1 hour. But now let's just continue this real quick. I don't need those extra clocks, I don't think. But let's go over here. So let's just keep adding in some increments, because we're going to need more. So just keep adding 15 minutes and then keep adding 1/4. So 75 minutes is 1 1/4 hours. 90 minutes is 1 1/2. And you can just keep going. And I think you might have a little bit more. But basically, you're going to use this idea to help you figure out this part, which is probably the more challenging part of this task. Okay, so let's just really zoom in here and try to figure out what's going on with these different people. Okay, I'm going to try to find a time where I can jump ahead to an even hour. So if he goes from 2:09 to 3:09, that's 1 hour, right? And then how about from 3:09 to 3:39? That's another 30 minutes. So this guy, Craig, is an hour and a half. Okay, do the same with some other one. Okay, and maybe we don't even need that chart we just made, because if we jump ahead, that's giving us an hour. And then from 4:10 to 4:55, how much time would that be? Well, that would be 45 minutes. So if we look here, that's 3/4 of an hour, right? So Robert is going to be 1 3/4. And then Heather, look at her. So she went all the way from 2:45 until 5 p.m. I can jump all the way ahead to 4:45 And that was 2 hours I just jumped. And then what's left to get from 4:45 to 5? That would be 15 more minutes. So she's 2 and a fourth. I think the next few, you can figure it out. Let's see if anyone here is tricky. Okay, Natalie's numbers are a little bit uneven. Let's skip ahead. I guess the next one to skip ahead would be 4:16 to get 1 hour. So we're going to have a 1, and then to go from 4:16 to 4:46, that would be 30 minutes, right? So she's 1.5. And then how about we also do Riley? And Riley will skip ahead to 4:17 for 1 hour. And then what is this? What would you add to 17? It looks like 15 minutes to me. So he would be 1 1/4. Okay, so now you can go ahead. Once you have all of these figured out, that's when you would finish filling in your line plot here. And then you should have 24 numbers on there. And this is where we're getting to the part where we've done a lot of this before. So there is one other question here that's basically addition, but we have some fractions going on here. So total amount of time spent in the pool by the first 5 children, who are these ones that I've circled in green over here. So let's write those down. All right, so there they are. Those are the numbers we need to add together. And I don't know if we have too much experience doing this type of addition, but let's put all of the whole numbers in a box and add those first. And that makes it really simple. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is going to give us 4, right? But what we're left with is adding some fractions. 3/4 plus 1/4 plus 3/4. Okay, now how are you going to do that? I don't know, up to you. You could possibly just add 3/4 to 1/4 and figure out, and then you have the extra 3/4 there. Or you could draw some pictures like this, and then just fill in your fractions on these things to help you add them together. But basically, whatever you have, you need to put together with the 4. So add your 4 to whatever the other whole number is, and your fraction will stay the same. And your hint is your fraction is still going to be in fourths. Okay, and now let's get into this stuff we've done before. So minimum smallest number, maximum largest number. All you need to do is circle them on your graph. And let's also label them. So I actually just had a look. I did a lot of these in my head, and it's going to be 2 numbers over here. So it seems to me the least is Rachel, half an hour, and then the most is going to be Kim, who was at 2.5. So you would circle those and label them. So there they are, and then the next question is, what is the difference or the range between them? Well, you can subtract 2.5 minus a half, or you can just look at your number line. But to go from there to there, you just went that distance. So that's just your hint. I'm not going to do the whole thing for you. And then the mode is going to be whatever one is tallest here. So right now it looks like my mode is 1.5, but you need to add all of these. You'll add 12 more x's to your graph. So your mode might be different from what I see on mine right now. And then for the median, to do that, you have to figure out what number is exactly in the middle. And you can do that by going back and forth. So 1, 2, there's 2 more, 2 more, 2 more, 2 more. And I have 2 in the middle. I have 2, for this set, I have 2 medians, 1 1/4 and 1 1/2, but yours will be different because you're going to have 24 numbers on here. So your median will be different depending on your data. And then over here, same idea, you're just doing more practice. But let's just go over a quick thing to help you with this. Everything on your graph here is in 8s. And up here we have some numbers that aren't 8s, so we need to translate those into 8s. Okay, so 1/4 times what is going to give you 8s? You need to do it times 2 halves. So 1/4 is equal to 2 8s. And 1/2, what would you multiply that to get to 8s? You need 4 4/4. So 1/2 is equal to 4 8s. And then 3/4, same as 1/4, you need to multiply by 2 halves, and I'll let you figure that one out. And then you're just going through this data again. So for example, Catalina, 5 7/8, there she is. Bridget 4 1/4. Remember, 1/4 is the same as 2/8. So this is really the same as 4 2/8. So here is Bridget. Rachel 4 7/8. Ben 4 1/4. Again, 1/4 is the same as 2/8. And go through and do that, and then you've got your similar questions. And then just the questions here are basically how many were 1/8 or more. So how many x's do you have on that side of 5 1/8? And then how about fewer than 5 would be how many x's do you have there? And then again, mode, the tallest one, and then the range, you need to subtract your maximum minus minimum. So, all right, a little bit longer than I wanted this to be, but this is end of the year review. So thank you and goodbye.